Hey guys, it's Fida and today I've come up with a rainbow cake recipe. This cake is super delicious. So it's basically gonna have one vanilla cake batter which you're gonna dye in 6 colors. So normally a rainbow has 7 colors which are violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. So instead of violet and indigo I'm gonna use purple today, and the rest are gonna be the same like blue, green, yellow, orange and red. So I'm gonna have totally 6 colors which I'm gonna bake it in a frying pan. You can use cake tins if you have all 6 of them and you can bake it in one turn, but if you don't have 6 baking tins, it's easier to make it in a frying pan. It will come perfectly as you make it in a cake tin also. And another thing is that when you keep the baking soda and baking powder outside for a long time, it won't react and its reaction will be over. Then it won't bake perfectly. Either it will have a bigger dome and it will crack, and also it's always better to make a rainbow cake in a frying pan, which is going to be far more easier if you don't have cake tins. And if you don't have all the 6 colors, it's fine. You can mix some colors and get the color you're achieving for. So it's totally fine. For suppose I don't have purple, so I'm going to mix 2 colors and I'm going to get purple. So it's totally fine if you don't have all the colors. And then it's going to be topped up with some plain whipped cream frosting, which is super delicious. I already have a recipe to it. I'll leave a link in the description down below. Then I'm going to make a white chocolate ganache, dye it in blue and pour it on top of the cake. It's going to be super delicious. Then decorate it however you want. If you want to see the same recipe in Malayalam, I'll leave a link in the description down below, so you can go check it out. I have another channel called Love Cooking Malayalam in which I upload the same videos just translated to Malayalam. So let's get on to making this cake. First, let's start by preparing the vanilla cake batter. For that, take a big bowl and into it add 3 eggs along with 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Start beating that, and in between, start gradually adding 3/4 cup of sugar. I'm using normal white granulated sugar. You can also use a whisk for doing this, but just that it will take a little bit longer. So continue adding the sugar gradually. Now all of that is added in, and keep beating until this mixture doubles in size. And you also want to see the color lighten a little bit, so it will start becoming a little pale like this. At this point, you can stop the mixer and you can totally see that it has started becoming pale. And now I'm gonna add in 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm using vegetable oil. Just beat that again until incorporated. And then you can set the hand beater aside. We don't need to use them anymore. And now we have to sift in some dry ingredients. For that I have 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour along with 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. This recipe doesn't require baking soda or salt. Then you need to slowly fold that in with a spatula. If you be too harsh with the batter, you're going to deflate all the air bubbles that we incorporated in while beating the eggs, and the cake won't be soft anymore. So continue just folding it in slowly, and in between just add 3/4 cup of milk. Just gradually add the milk. I've added all the milk, and now slowly keep folding until you get a really smooth batter. Now here the batter is ready. It's totally done. It's in a nice and silky ribbony consistency. So just scrape down the sides. And now we need to divide this into 6 different parts so that we can color it in the rainbow colors. Right now it's divided in 6, and let's start coloring these batters. First here I have red. Put enough amount of the food coloring into your batter and then just mix it until the color shows up. If you feel there's no enough color, you might need to add more, because when it bakes, the color will slightly lighten a bit. Then comes orange. I don't have orange color, so I'm gonna add a few drops of yellow along with a little bit of red food color. So that will give me orange. So if you don't have a few colors, you can try mixing a bit of colors and then you will achieve the color you were going for. So that's mixed in. I've got an orange. Then here comes yellow. A few drops of yellow. And yellow is also ready. Next color is green. For green I'm using watercolors. That's the reason it seems to be a little too much, but watercolors don't show up a lot, so you might need more. Next comes blue. I'm just going for a very light blue. And next is purple. I don't have purple, so I'm gonna mix blue and pink. You need more of the pink so that the purple shows up a little bit more. I feel like I need some more pink because it looks a bit bluish. I'm gonna add a bit more of pink and then see if it comes perfect. And there, the purple is also ready. And right now all of the colors are ready. Just give them a final mix. Here I have purple, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. Now let's set it aside and start baking these in our frying pan. So here I have my frying pan, and this is a 7-inch frying pan which I'm brushing with some oil, and it's always better to use non-stick or else it'll stick to the pan. And when it is non-stick, you might not even have to pour in oil. It will come out very easily. So then pour in the first cake batter and then close the lid and put it on your lowest flame that you have and bake it for around 7 minutes in there. So after 7 minutes, just test it with a skewer, and if it doesn't stick, it's perfect. Also, you can just touch on the top to see if the top is perfectly baked. And then you don't even have to flip it over. You can immediately just move it into a plate, and the bottom part is also not going to be burnt at all. Transfer that to a plate, and our first layer of cake is ready. Let's fry the rest of it in the same way. So I have a frying pan brushed with oil. Pour in the second cake batter, which is going to be the orange. Tap that a few times. Close lid and put it on the lowest flame and cook for 7 minutes. After 7 minutes, open the lid, test it with a skewer, and you can also touch on the top just to see if it is baked. And then transfer that to a plate. And the second cake layer is also ready. Let me just show you the bottom part also. It's not at all burnt, it's perfectly cooked. So let's set it aside. Continue doing the same thing with all of your layers until everything is baked. Brush some oil, pour in the cake batter. Even that out just by tapping. And then close the lid, put it on your lowest flame and cook it for 7 minutes. Continue doing the same thing, and after that's done, you'll have 6 cake layers ready. Here are the purple, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. Let's set them aside for completely cooling, and then we can trim off the edges so that they are even. Now my cake layers are completely cooled. It didn't take much time because the cake layers are thin. So take one of the cake layers, and here I have a bowl that's slightly smaller than my cake layer. Need to trim off the edges with this bowl. Just guide along the bowl and then cut it off. So you'll have an even cake, and all of your cake layers are going to be even rather than being one smaller and one bigger. The first cake layer is ready. Continue doing the same thing with the rest of your cake layers, and once that's done, you can start assembling the cake. For that, take your turntable to make it a bit more easy. Brush the first cake layer with some sugar syrup. My first cake layer is gonna be the purple one, as you need to go in the rainbow color order. Once you've brushed with the sugar syrup, keep on some frosting. Then keep the other cake layer, brush some sugar syrup, keep the frosting. Keep the other cake layer, brush some sugar syrup, and then continue doing the same thing. Keep some frosting on top. And then the other cake layer. Another thing, the cake is too soft, so just be careful. Mine just cracked right now. Next one is orange. Brushing sugar syrup, then adding a nice amount of frosting. And this is whipped cream frosting, which I've already uploaded a video on. So I'll leave a link in the description down below. And in my recipe, I've added gelatin in it to make the frosting more stable. But when I made this cake, I didn't add gelatin in the frosting. It's fine if you don't add also. Crumb coat the cake, and the crumb coat is done now. You need to keep this in the refrigerator so that all the crumbs get sealed, and when we do our final frosting, none of the crumbs come out. After around half an hour, the crumbs are sealed into the frosting. So right now you can start frosting the cake finally. The final layer of frosting will have no crumbs because the first layer of frosting will catch up all the crumbs. That's why it's called as crumb coat. So then add enough frosting and smooth down the sides and the top. Frost it however you like. Just make it even and good. And right now that's done, we're going to keep this in the refrigerator just before we start decorating so that all the frosting is just into the cake. And after around 2 hours, the cake will be ready and you can start decorating the cake right now. Here I have some white chocolate ganache dyed in light blue color to represent the sky. And then I'm going to drip the ganache all over the sides. And then pour it on the top and smooth it down. So it's going to be like a nice ganache drip. Then I'm going to clean the sides and keep this in the refrigerator again for another half an hour so that the ganache gets set up. And here I have a small decoration. This is the excess of my cake layers which I've crumbled and added some frosting. So it becomes like a cake pop, and I've shaped it into the shape that I like. I'm just making it into a rainbow, but mine looks like a Wi-Fi signal. That's fine anyway. Decorate it however you want, and then one final time keep this in the refrigerator. After taking it out of the refrigerator, you can cut the cake and serve it. So there's a nice slice of cake over there. That's such a pretty cake. You can see all of the layers. The blue ganache to represent the sky on top, and all the rainbow colors with the whipped cream frosting in the between. It's super delicious. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you liked it, and if you did, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up down below. Also subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Thanks once again, and bye bye.